Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallava Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallava Girivaradhari. Jasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallava Girivaradhari. Jasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Radhe. Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Valadeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivachakacharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 13, 12 to 13, today's text. Tad dadarshanu-dhavantim tam dadarshanu-dhavantam chandalam ivarupinim jaraya vepaya vepamanangim yaksma grastim ashrik patam vikirya palitan keshams tistheti bhashinim Mina gandhyashu gandhena kurvatim marga dushanam tam dadarshanu dhavantim chandalim ivarupinim Jaraya vepamanangim yakshma grastam ashrikpatam vikirya palitan keshams tistheti bhashinim Mina gandhyasu gandhena kurvatim margadushanam. Anybody else? Okay. Tam, the sinful reaction. Dadarsha, he saw. Anudhavantim, chasing. Chandalim, a women of the lowest class. Iva, like. Rupinim, taking a form. Jaraya, because of old age. Vepamanangim, whose bodily limbs were trembling. Yakshmagrastim, infected with tuberculosis. Astrikpatam, whose clothes were covered with blood. Vikirya, scattering. Palitan, grade. Keshan, hair. Tishtatistha, wait. Iti, thus. Bhashinim, calling. Minagandhi, the smell of fish. Ashu, whose breath. Gandhena, by the order. Kurvatim, bringing about. Margadushanam, the pollution of the whole street. Translation: Indra saw personified sinful reaction chasing him, appearing like a Chandala woman, a woman of the lowest class. She seemed very old, and all the limbs of her body trembled. Because she was afflicted with tuberculosis, her body and garments were covered with blood. Breathing an unbearably fish odor that polluted the entire street, she called to Indra, wait. There's a small purport. When a person is afflicted with tuberculosis, he often vomits blood, which makes his garments bloody. There's no purport all the way to the end of the chapter. Maybe that's why the person supposed to give class didn't want to give. Who knows? I speak whatever I know. I don't want to give my own purport. Prabhupada already gives his purport, is the perfect purport. But anyway, the whole story here is very philosophical. And as devotees of Krishna, we should understand that even sometimes we can judge anyone. Even sometimes, like mentioned here, the demon Vitrasura, he was being chasing Indra, but he was considered to be a devotee. Sometimes we don't know who is devotee, who is not, maybe in disguise. That's one thing we can understand clearly, that it is not for us to jump to conclusion or make a judgment. But we can certainly observe, because this is what we do when we are associating with each other, when we are living together. We are observing each other's movements of our dealings and of our behavior and practicing Krishna consciousness. Especially, we observe each other. That's why the sadhu sangha is there, because then we can check each other's advances in spiritual life. So here Vritasura was a demon, but he was also, according to everyone, he was also a devotee. A Brahmana mentioned here. Of course, in Kali Yuga, there's not really a Brahmana here, because Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, Sudra, there are 4 ashrams in the human societies. We divided 4 ashrams: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, Sudra. But in Kali Yuga, we don't see high-class Brahmanas. Maybe there is some in India somewhere. If in India there was perfect Brahmanas, why did Srila Prabhupada leave India to go to America? Why didn't they accept him? So he went to America and made Westerners Brahmanas. That shows that when we're talking about spiritual life, transcendental subject matters, we're not this body. Doesn't matter where you're born. We still have underneath spiritual qualification. The spirit soul is not, he is a spiritual entity, no matter what place is born. Yeah. So a transcendentalist, like a Uttaramadhikari, a pure devotee, sees Krishna in everyone. He sees the spirit soul in everyone. He is not seeing the body. And he can, by his power, a Vaishnava can raise a lower class person into Vaishnava. Vaishnava means he's surpass all the ashrams. Otherwise, if you say, even in India, everyone is following the Western country these days. This is why when Prabhupada brought the foreigners to India, white people, Westerners chanting Hare Krishna, then they took up Krishna consciousness. Before that, they were not taking him seriously, because there's so many sadhus roaming around. Because they are always following the Western country. And this is also a reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. They were not listening to him. But when he took sannyas, people tend to listen to a sannyasi. Just like here in this, a sannyasi is giving class, there will be a temple filled with devotees. I'm giving, or some simple devotees giving. So we have this natural tendency to listen to our authority, or listen to a senior person, or listen to a leader. And that's why Krishna says, Jajaj achariti sresa satta devatara jana. Whatever great man does, common man follows. So in Kali Yuga, even it's mentioned that in this age, we have 2 sides to us. Inside we have demoniac side and we have a spiritual side. Sura, Asura, demon and devotees. These 2 exist always. But it's not for us to make the judgment. We can observe, we can associate, but we should not make offense to a devotee or anyone. Even to a non-devotee, we have to be respectful. Even to a demon, we can say Hare Krishna. They start barking at you, just leave. Hare Krishna, go away. We see all the time in the street when you go on Harinam. Yeah. Of course, those days are over. Nowadays people appreciate the devotees because of our preaching, constantly going Harinam. So much preaching going on in all over the world for years and years. People got to know what we do, what is our lifestyle. People appreciate us. But beginning many years ago, in the 80s and 70s, people were always criticizing us and harassing us in the street. And even here we find time to time. I remember in Harinam recently, one guy said, Hare Krishna, you're simply chasing the dollar. You're after money. We're not the one busking in the street for money. We're going Harinam for free. We're not asking anyone to give us money. We're distributing books. Sometimes they walk off with a book. They don't even give you anything. We have to run after them, pay for the cost of the book. So, point is, in this age, people are already fallen. Kala Sudra Sambhava. Everyone in the Kali Yuga is Sudra, born as a Sudra, lower class. And this happened other yugas, this story, in heavenly planets. So those, because one is a demigod, very highly, it doesn't mean he is bereft of his spiritual qualities. So Haridas Thakur, he was born as a Muslim, Muhammadan. Those days, but he was chanting Hare Krishna. He was a great Vaishnava. What makes us so special? We are not any better than Haridas Thakur is the highest Vaishnava. So we have to chant Hare Krishna in humility. It's by the mercy of Guru that we have achieved any qualifications. Prabhupada went to America, and now we have so many devotees from all over the world because of his mercy. He has the power to raise a lower class person into Vaishnava. Prabhupada is like a touchstone. Touchstone, he can touch anything like metal, it will turn into gold. Touchstone. So devotee's qualities is like a jewel. And that's been made possible by the mercy of pure devotee like Prabhupada, Prabhupada's mercy. Even though we are devotees for many years, we're still lingering with desires, we're still struggling with material desires and bad qualities inside us. It's not that we chant Hare Krishna, poof, we become pure instantly. Yes, it has the power to do it, but we're still lingering with desires in our heart. We're not taking full shelter of Krishna. This is why we have this morning program, we have chanting japa, we have association of devotees, we have the Bhagavatam class, but these things is a process to purify us. This is why killing of cow, killing of a brahmana, this sinful activity is very sinful. So he was considered brahmana, this Vritrasura. He was being chased. Indra was being chased by this Vritrasura. Somebody chased me, let's stop, and let's talk. Let's stop chasing. But sometimes we are being chased and we're scared. But we can subtly, we can stop and discuss and finalize what is the problem. So we cannot just simply take the problems in your own hand. This is what's going on in the world today. They're run by more of passion and ignorance. This is why they have police force, they have laws, so they can make things more easy for people living, the citizens. They have riots, sometimes people are rioting. That's all more of passion. They can talk, but sometimes the talking doesn't solve the problem, so that's why they have riots. Either way, what I'm saying is, everything there's a way. There's always a way to solve the problem. The ultimate problem is that we think we know it all. I know everything. Sometimes we're distributing books in the street. People say, I already know everything. I already bought these books. I have so many. People, particularly from India, they say that. I bought this book many years ago, I have so many books. I already know, I was born as a Brahmana. They even show the Brahman thread. So, different classes of people. Chandala. You know what Chandala means? What Chandala means? Yeah. What do they eat? Yeah. I lived in China for 10 years. China. I used to hardly see any Indian people living in China. Mainly because Indian people go where there's money. Maybe there's money there also. But it's very difficult to find a vegetarian food to eat over there. Like if you are traveling to China, you want to find a devotee, you have to contact the devotees in Hong Kong. Then they will tell you, because everything over the phone. And so I used to live there, and some Indian people that I knew came from Hong Kong, they'll contact me to find them a place where they can eat. So difficult because it's half the food they eat, it's like here. There's always meat in it, all kinds of meat. So very difficult to find food. But they do have vegetarian restaurant. They even write on the wall, no meat, fish or egg, no onion, garlic. They write it, and they offer the food to Buddha. Even Indian restaurant here, vegetarian, they have onion, garlic. They're even more strict. So, Chandalas is a dog eater. It's the lowest. And then they have restaurant, they will show pictures of the things that you can eat. All different animals and stuff. Cat, dog, snakes. They have pictures. That's a Chandala. Very disgusting, even just to talk about. And when you're driving, you see people, we saw one truck go by, full of dogs. They take into a market. Like here they have the cows. So, but how you can make judgments? When you see a Chinese devotee chanting japa, you see so many Chinese devotees living in Mayapur, such wonderful devotees, like amazing devotees. Some of them are like 70 plus, young people they're chasing after material life. The elderly Maharaji they're taking up in China. So, when you talk about Krishna consciousness, spiritual life, everybody has it. Simply by associating that we are like lighting a fire. Fire is already there. You have to know how to light it. So everybody is born in spiritual life, no matter where they are. Expert devotee can make someone Krishna conscious. Influence others to be Krishna conscious. Like Prabhupada. When Prabhupada went to America, he wasn't preaching, he was just sitting under a tree chant, Hare Krishna. And then people saw how sincere this elderly man. Prabhupada waited. He waited till he is elderly. Because generally speaking, elderly Indian man, sadhu, people, Swamiji, they have that respect. If we go as a young man, maybe something else, as a businessman. But Prabhupada went there to preach Krishna consciousness. And he had the blessing of his Guru Maharaj. He had the blessing of Krishna, all the Acharyas. He had the power to turn them into Vaishnavas. He sat under a tree, and people were coming one by one. And he had all these people, and this is how he started this movement. It's not that I have the power to make devotees, and if they don't become, I go crazy. I'm doing so much. It's not happening. We have to be patient. But we can desire strongly in our heart to make a devotee. And Krishna will send, like Prabhupada used to always say, I sat there chanting Hare Krishna, and Krishna sent these young boys and girls. He sent them to me. Simply you have to have desire to preach Krishna consciousness. We are trying very hard to make Aussies the devotees. All you are getting Indians. But that's also good, I'm not saying bad. But to make local people devotee, they're much more ignorant. They're much more entangled in material life. But Prabhupada went to America. There was not many Indian people, even till 1990s. All we had is $10 devotees. Now we have pure vegetarian Indians to become a devotee. So it's easy to make someone who is already God conscious. If you try to make someone very ignorant to become Krishna conscious, you have to be Krishna conscious yourself. Try to influence others. It works on purity. Purity is the force. When people see your purity, your spiritual consciousness, it rubs onto them, those who are ignorant. And Prabhupada had that touchstone. He's like that touchstone. Touchstone, the quality of a touchstone. You can touch anything, it'll turn into gold. And Prabhupada can see. What is that verse in Bhagavad Gita? He saw everyone devotees. And the reporter asked Prabhupada, how many temples do you have? How many devotees? He says, thousands of devotees. Those days we didn't have thousands of devotees, just starting. But he could see there's going to be thousands of devotees. So sometimes we may have temple full of devotees, but it could be just like Vitasura. Who knows? But we cannot judge. Anyone who comes to Krishna's lotus feet to see the deity, they have to be pure. They have some purity, their piety. They come to see Bhagavan. Maybe the schoolgirls come, oh please, oh Bhagavanji, please make me pass the exam. Or please give me a better husband. Or it's like this, material desire. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, among the four men, those people who have come to me, they're still good because they have come to me. Then gradually he can purify them. They haven't gone to the demigods. Krishna condemned demigod worship actually, even though the process is there in the Vedas. He said those who are less intelligent, they worship demigod in the same chapter. That's why he says, those who come to me, they're good. They're better than... If so, somebody who worships the demigod, they actually worshiping Krishna indirectly. So the point is, we have to be very careful. Krishna consciousness is very wonderful, it's the highest process. But at the same time, there's also the rules and regulations that we need to follow to avoid things that hinders Krishna consciousness. And the way to Krishna consciousness, there are thorns that you need to avoid. It seems so nice here. When he first joined, oh yeah, and then gradually, when Prabhupada went to America, gradually, he started to implement the four principles. In the beginning, he didn't start it. When he saw that people were started really relish Krishna consciousness, they're getting the taste for chanting Hare Krishna, they're appreciating Krishna consciousness, gradually he implemented the four principles one by one. And then, because they can take it then. In the beginning, Prabhupada was very intelligent. He didn't go there immediately. No one can do it. Gradually. So, in the beginning when we join Krishna consciousness, Krishna blesses us with mercy, unlimited mercy, showering on you. You enjoy every bit of the Krishna consciousness. Everything. And gradually you know, oh, it's tough here. It's not always. But by that time you already have taste for Krishna consciousness. He doesn't mind that to go through that hardship. So actual Krishna consciousness, the hardship is not there. Prabhupada used to always say, what is the difficulty? He used to always say, what is the difficulty? So someone may say, it's easy for you to say because you are devotee. But we find it's the difficulty. But the difficulty is not that we bring on the difficulty to ourselves. Just like they don't mind. I give this example of sometimes we have Madhajis and Brahmacharis and men, women in our temples. Young girls, young boys. And then there is some attraction. That is natural. But then it can drag into a big trouble. Isn't it? What we come here for, we have to reflect. We are here to go back to Godhead. We are here to serve Krishna. What is our motivation? We have to always see, they reflect back. When he first came here, Krishna consciousness, Hare, and gradually we start to look to other things. So that's why Krishna consciousness is a very conscious activity, serving Krishna. You should always know why I'm doing this, why I'm here. If we didn't see this way in a subtle points of Krishna consciousness, then we sometimes will brush off. We'll just, fine. Any little small thing, if you don't avoid, just like a disease. Here, tuberculosis disease. Sometimes disease starts with a small disease. It grows, it gets bigger, and then if you don't deal with it from the beginning. So like that. So the process of Krishna consciousness is wonderful. It's sublime. In every step of Krishna consciousness, every japa you do, every time you say something nice about devotee of Krishna consciousness, is very uplifting, very flourishing, very loving. But at the same time, if you develop anything other than that, it can also lead into a problem. So that's why it's a cutting edge. You have to always check yourself. Everything we have is by the mercy of Prabhupada. See how Prabhupada is watching over us. Like a lion. Lion, very strong animal. But they can also get attacked by so many other animals together. A lion also have fear. They always look back. Other animals may be attacking him. So devotees, we are very strong. We have Krishna with us. Like a child next to the parents, they don't have any fear because they know their parents are there. We have Krishna, we have no fear. Abhaya charanara vindam, like Prabhupada, fearless. But Prabhupada always very humble. He always says, it's all by the mercy of my Guru. It's whatever I have. By the mercy of my Guru, I have this, I'm able to do. So always, if we can remain Krishna conscious in this mood of attitude, things become very easy. Krishna will bless us. He'll give us His mercy to perform our service. It's not that we can just do it. So similarly, this sinful activity that we have to avoid. Chandala behavior. Or sometimes, even we are devotees, we did so many things in the past, it comes back slowly. We think, even doing the puja, some thought comes that you did many years ago, suddenly. Because our mind's always dwelling on objects, things that we've done years ago. It comes back while you're chanting japa. That's why it's so tough. Kali Yuga is a concessional age, where you can go back to God very quickly, in 100 years, even less. Satya Yuga, people have to meditate for thousands of years. It took them to go back to God. But here we can go so quickly. But the problem is, you have to deal with our mind. So sinful activity is not only breaking the 4 principles, but is also offending Vaishnava. Yeah. Sometimes we hear, two devotees, that's childish. We need to be respectful to each other. And what to speak of killing a Brahmana. This is why we go around the Tulsi in the morning. Jani kani cha papani. Brahma hatyadi, killing of a Brahmana is eradicated by going around the Tulsi. Cha papani. Sinful activities. This is why I go crazy when you go around the Tulsi. Go for it. Tulsi Devi has the power to purify us. I was drinking the Chanamrita, and I had this big leaf in my mouth, and it doesn't taste like Tulsi. It tastes like a spinach. Somebody put something else in it. It's very unique flavor, Tulsi. Sometimes in India they're making Tulsi tea. They boil the Tulsi, very offensive. But it's not that it has the purity to purify our heart, devotional purity, not just cleanse our throat like a lozenge. Let's have a Tulsi lozenge. So the Tulsi Devi has the power to purify our sinful activity. Sometimes people have Mangalarati, and then before Tulsi Arati they take off. But I always find it very important to actually attend Tulsi Arati. The first Arati I ever done in the whole movement, first Arati, I was his age. He said, "Hey, you do Tulsi Arati." I was like, wow, I loved it. My hand was shaking because everybody was there, like everything you do. 1975, first Tulsi Arati I did. Love Tulsi Arati. Any small thing, Tulsi Arati, Guru Puja, pay attention to it. This will give you mercy. We had on the roof of Mayapur, the old building, the Lotus building is the first original building in Mayapur, and they had Tulsi plants on the roof. And there's a room upstairs on the roof. That room Prabhupada used to live there. That's his. He used to have a nap in the afternoon. And my job was to water the Tulsi every day in the afternoon while Prabhupada is resting. They could have told me like, don't, maybe that was the only time I was available from the Gurukul. So I would water the plant, Tulsi plant, and Prabhupada was resting. I have to be very, very careful, not make any noise. And sometime I wanted to see what Prabhupada was doing, like how he's sleeping. So I peeped through the window very quietly, and he's sleeping. I couldn't see him nicely. So one day I was mucking around with instead of watering the Tulsi. And when you were in India, when you're a small kid, we love water, because I used to swim in the Ganges and very hot. He muck around with the water, And we have this big hose. So instead of hosing the Tulsi, I was hosing people down there. Walking, pull it up. It is on the top floor, so it's very high. So if you hose down the water, they also like some water because it's very hot, but we're taking advantage. So I was doing this for a long time. And then suddenly I felt this knock on my shoulder. That was Prabhupada. Yeah. He said, "What are you doing, I thought Prabhupada was deep sleep, he doesn't know what's going on, Prabhupada knows everything. He said, we worship Tulsi, you should have respect. He said, this is my roof here, this Tulsi is on my, I'm sleeping here, this is on my roof. And then he said, on the middle floor, Prabhupada also has a room, and he has Tulsi there, in the middle floor, where he sleeps at night. And he said, in my room I have Tulsi. So Tulsi is inside us. And he said we also have Tulsi in the temple room for worshipping. So we are living in Tulsi. So he tried to explain to me, but I was too dumb, I didn't understand. I only understand that much. And then I paid my obeisances, full dandavats, when I saw Prabhupada behind. Like, whatever he says, yes, but I didn't really understand. But then, out of respect, like Prabhupada. So I always know that, Krishna consciousness is a process by which purifies. Everything we do is a process of purification. Yeah. If you take it that way, even taking prasadam is a way to purify us. It's not that, give me the pakora, give me the Prabhu, that's rasamalai. No, we are only seeing that. We are not seeing the purity of the prasadam. If we take it with respect, if we understand what it is, deep down, it will purify us. But if you see it in a material way, with material consciousness, and then we're not understanding it. That's why everything we do in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness, it has subtleties, spiritual benefit. If you really want that, then you have to go deeper. Focus our mind, understand it. Even when we are studying the scriptures, read over it to get the point, understand. You have to read again. Prabhupada was reading Bhagavatam, Prabhupada. So the devotees asked Prabhupada, you wrote the book, why are you reading it? You wrote your own book, you're reading your own book? Prabhupada said, I didn't read it. I didn't write it. Krishna wrote the book. That's why it's so interesting. Krishna told him to write, Prabhupada was dictating. Krishna was telling him what to. Otherwise, how much can he write? An elderly man in such a short time. It's all very magic, miracle. This is what real miracle is, what Prabhupada did. You can get a touchstone and make metal into gold. Even that is material. What Prabhupada did, even if you get a touchstone, you can't touch someone's heart and change their heart. That is such a difficult thing to change someone's heart, to make a devotee. That's such a difficult thing. But anyone can get somehow you can get a touchstone and make metal into gold. There's so much gold. Only 500 years ago, there was boat full of gold coins. It's not a big deal. But to make someone who is a non-devotee, a devotee of Krishna, is harder. And Prabhupada did that. That's what it means, touchstone. When you describe a pure devotee, touchstone, that's what it means. They can change the demoniac heart, rock like a heart of a person into soft like a rose, a devotee of Krishna. That is the quality Prabhupada has. That's how you can describe a pure devotee. Prabhupada is not there to make money and make touchstone, make gold. Devotees are more than a gold. Devotees are gem. With Prabhupada, he said, I'm simply here to make everyone happy. How loving he is. He said, sometimes they say, he built a house in which the whole world can live in peacefully. That's ISKCON. We have this Hare Krishna movement. Even ordinary people walk down in this temple. They come here, they say, this place is so wonderful. I love it here. But they can go to Albert Park and sit peacefully, but it's not the same. Here, you have the spiritual energy. And that's the mercy of Prabhupada. Prabhupada's mercy, this place become such spiritually atmosphere, so charged with spiritual feelings of affection that coming from Krishna Radha Balva. And you can feel that. Even ordinary people, that they are like demoniac people. When they come here, they feel saturated with happiness. That's the touchstone. Prabhupada's mercy is on us. Some of us, we cook, we do so many services. How we can do these things is Prabhupada's mercy on us. This is a very special temple because Prabhupada has rooms here, he stayed here. He blessed this place. His lotus feet touched here. So whatever we have today, because of his mercy, we could embrace this happiness now. We can relish, lavish, cherish this happiness because of his Prabhupada's mercy, special mercy here in this temple. So sometimes we are killing the demon, like Indra killed Vitasura. We can get a gun and start shooting everyone. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in Kali Yuga we don't kill, we kill your demoniac character. That's what Prabhupada did. Demon-like heart, he turned them into Vaishnavas. We have the japa beat, we have their fingers out. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Prabhupada is in the UK and he was having a morning walk and he has his cane. And he was going, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He's poking something. Prabhupada said, these are ghosts. Because England is a very old country, so they have so many wars. There's a lot of ghosts in the buildings, our buildings. Bhaktivedanta manor, like a lot of ghosts before. Prabhupada said, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And they're running away because you're chanting Hare Krishna. Ghostbusters. So we have this bead bag, our fingers coming out of the bead bag, like we're pointing at people. Chant Hare Krishna. Hey you, chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So power of the holy name, it can purify a conditioned soul. Power of the holy name, power of the pure devotees. It's not that we have to chastise people. When people see us, our purity, our Krishna consciousness, our happiness, we go on a Harina and people see us, wow, these people are so blissful. They say, why am I so miserable? How can't I be like them? They will ask themselves. They saw Prabhupada in the street, walking across the street, and they were asking themselves, how come this man is glittering, light? He's so happy. All your disciples are so happy. Because they surrendered to Krishna. They surrendered to Prabhupada. It's not that they have big bank balance, they are happy. They have Krishna. Even though we are devotees, we have to realize this point very clearly. Even we become addicted to Maya. We work hard to build up a house, big bank balance. We are dying left and right. There's war going on in Europe. People, they build a house somewhere near, nicely, somewhere in the forest, near the river. Whew, in a minute it's gone. Bushfire. So what is the reality of the material world? The reality is not material. Real reality is to take up Krishna consciousness. That is reality. But those things are not reality. That's suffering. Temporary. Suffering is temporary. Happiness is eternal. Real happiness that everyone is looking for. It doesn't depend on material enjoyment. So that's why you have to know that Brahmana's happiness is in the studying the scriptures, is austerity, performing austerity, chanting Hare Krishna. Brahmanas, you see, they're very clean. They're studying, they're fully... When you talk about studying the Vedas, means you know what it means, the scriptures. When you actually know what is the scriptures, it means you can reflect onto others. You are a touchstone. You are showing by example. That's Prabhupada. Prabhupada is a perfect Vaishnava of his spiritual master, disciple of Bhaktivedanta Thakur. And we are his followers. How fortunate we are to be connected to Prabhupada. So when you want to kill a demon, just see how Prabhupada did it. Oh, this devotee is so nice. I want to be like him. That's how it works. Mahajana Jana Gatasha Pantha. We are following the footsteps of the Mahajans. Pantha, the path. We have to follow the process given to us by the spiritual master. It's very easy. Everything is there. We just need to follow. So demoniac nature is there. Like Vitashura, demoniac nature. He was a Brahmana, but he had the demoniac nature. And where's the other one? Ajamil also. He was a Brahmana, but he acquired his bad qualities, bad association. The devotees, we are devotees, but we can also become like that, become attracted to material things. So that's why we have to be very sharp and very strong with ourselves. Don't glide down to Maya. So this is all this thing, attractions there. Be strong with yourself. I'm here to go back to Godhead. I'm here to serve Krishna. I'm here, I have a purpose to being here. Arjuna was sent to heavenly planet to collect the weapon from Indra. And he was approached by one of the girls there, the heavenly women. He said, sorry, I don't have time. I'm here for a purpose. I am here, my brother sent me here to collect the weapons for the Kurukshetra battlefield. He was determined. That's what Krishna says. Ekeha Karanandana. Krishna says a devotee is fixed in his determination to serve me. Whereas a non-devotee is like a branch of a tree scattered everywhere. We have to be like that. Why Krishna is saying this? He's telling us how to practice Krishna consciousness. The process. He's giving us the process. It's not that I didn't know. It's all there if we want to practice Krishna consciousness. And material things will follow by. All the things you see, Srila Prabhupada had nothing in the beginning. Of course, he has everything. He has Krishna. He was chanting his kartal, one pair of kartal, his dhoti, chanting under a tree. Look at it now. We have temples in the big cities, all over the world. Krishna can give us, but we have to be very, very surrendered. We cannot be like Vitasura. Vitasura is a great devotee, but he wasn't acting in that way. So we are devotees, but we have to act like a devotee. We have to be like the touchstone. When people see us, oh, I want to be like this Prabhu. I want to be like this sannyasi. No criticism. We have to be perfect. Brahmanan is perfect. Ajata Shatru, like Yudhishthira Maharaj. Everybody loved him. Narad Muni, everybody loves him. These are highest Vaishnavas. Bhishmadev, everybody loves him. Why? Because they are spotless. Vaishnava means one spotless character. They work hard for Krishna. There is no room for Maya. They're spotless character. Ajata Shatru, he had no enemy. Everybody loved him. Demons and devotees. It's not that we're just saying this. These people are there in the universe. How many Narad Muni are there? Narad Muni is one in the whole universe. He's there to show that example. And Prabhupada is the one in the whole universe, the Srila Prabhupada. And how, if you look at yourself, how fortunate we are to be connected to Prabhupada. Actually, we are making a history. We read these stories in the Bhagavatam, Vitashura, different stories, but we are also in the Bhagavatam for future. ISKCON movement, it's that Mayapur, the project, that big temple in Mayapur, it's predicted by Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Nityananda. One day there will be Adbhut Mandir. And we are part of that Adbhut Mandir. We are part of that branch, ISKCON Melbourne. So when people talk about, oh, this is the Hare Krishna, ISKCON, and they are part of this Hare Krishna movement, and they see you're like this. So we have to live up to the standard of Srila Prabhupada. So Vitasura's, when Indra killed Vitasura, he was criticized because he killed a Brahmana, but he was acting like a demon. But sometimes we don't know. Some of our people, like I get up sometimes, I come to the temple, like you come near me, you feel like you get burnt. I don't have the proper attitude of practicing Krishna consciousness, bad mood, or something or the other. But when we come here, we have to be very good to each other. We have to give up that nonsense attitude, put aside. And you are now associating with the devotees, you are now in a temple atmosphere. Throw your bad habit. Well, people will judge us. But that's good, because when people judge us, then we make room to become better devotee. Everything we do in Krishna consciousness is we are in a process. We are practicing to be good. I never say, I have done so well, I am so good. We're all process, we're practicing to be good. Hare Krishna. Any questions? I know all of us. Yes?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the nice class. Sometimes we see in book distribution, when we approach someone, they say like, we need to leave, and then they just run off. So how is there another way where we can approach them and then they can get liberated from the existence of...
You mean they run off with the book? When you give them the book, or...?
Like when I'm giving the book, they say we need to go, they don't take the book, and then they just leave.
You have to ask someone who is just good at book distribution. It's very difficult to do book distribution, but it requires some expertise. But you don't expect that they are going to take the book and give you the donation. It's not everyone will so easily accept. So if you are too pushy, maybe it's not good, but you have to say something. There's a way to do it. But I don't distribute books that much because I can't tolerate that kind of behavior. It's like, I want to just distribute books to people who easily accept, but you're not going to get that. There are going to be all kinds of people when you're distributing books. So you do have to be very tolerant. That's why those who go out to book distribution, there are so nice devotees, because they're getting realization every day on the street. They're attacked by people. So you can always say something very nice like that. But sometimes it doesn't work. I gave this example before. I was getting trained out to do book distribution by this Bhagavati Prabhu, long time ago. So he asked me, there's a way. He's very tall American. So he goes up to people and says, hey, good day, champ, and punch him in the arm here, good day, champ. Are you out of town or in a city or like this? So just to get their attention. So I did that. I said, good day, champ. And they looked at me like, who are you? Like, some people are really tall, and they look, they give me this dirty look. I said, like, I'm not doing this good day champ anymore. It's not a good way. And it was going hours and hours. I went 2 hours, I couldn't stop anyone. It was so tough. And I said, this is the worst thing to do. I'd rather stay in the temple, cook or something, do puja, or I can't come in the street. This is like so tough. And people are really like nasty, and I say, you Hare Krishna, get a job, and stuff like that. I say, I can't tolerate telling, Hare Krishna devotee mistreating us and stuff. So I said, I'm not going to use any line. So I thought, But I haven't made any money, like, I didn't sell any books. So I got really upset. I was like, ah. At that time, like, passion, I said, hey you! Stop right there! Give me $20. Now! Okay. It did work. No lines. No good champ. Good champ, how are you? So forget it. And he gave me money. After that, I felt very good. I was selling books, people stopping. Somehow, something, I had to get something, get that going. So, it may not always work, that technique. But sometimes you have to be humble and pray to Krishna, please, oh Krishna. Go to the side where there's no people in the street, behind the wall, and cry, oh Krishna, help me. I did that. Oh Krishna, you're in my heart, This is the time to help me. I need it now. Go behind the wall, no one's looking. Sometimes you have to do some really radical things to Krishna. He's there, he's watching you, how you're going to actually really enthuse yourself. How you're going to, he's checking our sincerity. And not they thinking, I have big book distributor, so many scores. They work really hard. They deserve it. They're praying. And I used to come every day, each mantra, holy name, I hear each mantra, Hare Krishna, very sincerely, because I want to have a nice Sankirtan that day. I'm praying to Krishna. And it works. Krishna is there in the name. But sometimes we are having ha-ha, everything is so nice. We don't take things seriously, even though we're chanting. So when you are put to test, that's the time to really take shelter of Krishna. So Krishna likes us. That's why He's put us into test. So book distribution, going the street is really tough. But it really helps us to become Krishna conscious. Like that. You can't chase people. As I was seeing people, they're chasing, they take the book and walking off. And like this, but it will. There's different things will happen. It's not that they're going to just give the money and Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Can I have more books? And give me the Bhagavatam set. You're not going to get people like that. And then their girlfriend or boyfriend, the guy says, no, don't take it. This is all Hare Krishna stuff. They try to stop her, or he or she tried to stop him. Like this, there's going to be always an issue. So you have to pray to Krishna for his blessing and Prabhupada before you go. Chant in nice rounds. Sometimes you do all that, it still doesn't work. Maybe Krishna is testing. Always have faith in Krishna. I was to sell stuff in the 80s. Whole day. I went, 9 o'clock started, first one in the street. Whole day I didn't sell anything. And I did good rounds in front of the deity praying and everything. Nothing. I was thinking, oh God. Sometimes I was even thinking, I'm going to leave Krishna consciousness. It doesn't work. Sometimes it goes through your head. I was thinking, this process. After being devotee for 40 years. And then, just before I go to the car, I'm thinking, just give it a try. There was one shop, I was thinking, maybe give it a try. I went in there, $800. Yeah, I still remember. So sometimes Krishna is testing us. We don't give up. We still continue our service. Krishna is testing us. At the end, whole life you didn't take initiation, you will say, this guru is not good for me. The other guru, this is like Maya. You have to surrender. And just before you die, I take initiation. The thing is, don't wait till the problem to come. Take up Krishna consciousness from like Prahlad Maharaj's early age. So there's going to be ups and downs in book distribution. They don't give up. Your age is a good age, and your parents are make you. Like I had so many Gurukul, my friends. They were your age. My age is when I started your age, and then later when they turn 20, 30, I don't want to be Hare Krishna anymore. I do my own way now. My mother was too forceful. Don't be like that. So they are giving you, but when you get older, we still have to maintain this attitude. When you were a small kid, still. Not that when you get old, that time I was different, now I'm... No. That's just Maya telling you. Okay? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.